I shot this video of the Hungarian Brompton group in meeting in Budapest and doing a ride on my GoPro. I don't know why the GoPro's format is not the same widescreen as on YouTube, but in any case, I didn't want to crop it. We met at a cafeteria. There was I and there was a British expat, otherwise everybody local. And the ride went all around downtown Budapest, both on the Buda and on the Pest side. You have to cross the river to do that, and they have plenty of bike paths, or you can walk. I was without a bicycle, so I could have rented a bike, and if I was living here permanently, I probably would download the app, but I just don't like apps. So, plus you would have to download a different app for the scooter than for the bicycle, and I don't even have the Facebook app. I only use it in the browser. So it was not the most pleasant evening because it was wet, not terribly rainy, but kind of a misty, drizzly kind of an evening. And this group has both the one G line and one Kinetics with the roll-off hub, which I really wanted to check out. But unfortunately, those two machines did not show up. And I think that was probably because of the weather, maybe not. But in any case, several people, just like in the US, they have several Bromptons. And I guess they bring out the cheaper Brompton for the rainy day. I don't recommend that you have several Bromptons. I believe in a staggered collection. And I have done videos on what I have and what I believe in having. But I think it's nice to have, if you're going to have separate bikes, then to have different bikes that do different things, like have a folding bike, have a recumbent, have a kick scooter or an electric scooter or whatever. The crowd was really friendly. There was nobody cold or hostile, unlike in New York, where there is this much larger group that may have 50, 60, 70 people show up, but they break up into smaller groups that have this kind of undercurrent of hostility for whatever reason. So this is a really friendly crowd, and they are not connected to the Brompton company. So they don't really advertise or try to sell you a G line, although they are exclusively Brompton. I guess it would be much more interesting to have not just the Brompton, but the small wheel, like to have some people join with the at least high quality small wheel bikes like the Birdie, or if anybody has a Molton or the Turn, maybe not the Dayhound. A Dayhound seems to be a little bit on the cheap end. And it took a while to get going, but this is how they got going. And I did not rent a bike, but I have my Budapest monthly pass with unlimited transfers, tram, subway, bus, all of that. So I tried to follow, and quite shockingly, I was able to follow, but that was mainly because they would make stops to take pictures, just like everybody else, just like the New York groups. And there were all these Christmas lights and various lights on the bikes, which actually made them safer and very visible. So riding at night with some extra lighting like Christmas lights, it really put the idea into my mind, because I used to commute in Manhattan late in the evening when it was completely dark, and I just had the front light and the small rear light. But when you wrap these Christmas lights all over the bike, it's just so visible, so much more visible. What's in the background is the Parliament building, and there are some other nice fancy palaces and buildings next to it, but you just can't see them from that far away. And there are all these sightseeing ships, just like in Paris, very similar. But unlike the Seine, the Danube is a much, much bigger river. So compared to this, the Seine is a spring. And there are lots of people riding bikes, even in the rain, even at night. The city is very well equipped in terms of not only public transportation, but also greenways, paths everywhere really. So it's very easy to get around. I'm sorry I stuck my hand in there and not realized it. This is the British guy, and we were in this restaurant. Prices, I would say, are a little bit cheaper than New York, but not that much cheaper. The stay, my rental, is still considerably less than New York City. But if you're going out, it's still going to be a little bit cheaper, but not by a long shot. And this was a restaurant that had this kind of indoor-outdoor area, not very warm, but they allowed us to bring in the bikes. And somebody even had to have a flat fixed. And I had a couple of drinks, and some people had some food. Interestingly enough, they close at 10 p.m. A lot of things, even restaurants and bars, close in this town pretty early. That's the one thing I find really unnerving coming from New York, that you can't stay out all night long. This is all the footage that I took that day, and make sure to follow the channel, check out the links below, and download my book if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you in the next video quite soon.